Hey everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships with Nubicon, and here is my first ever game in my Admiral Hipper. The ship is completely stock. No flags, no upgrades, completely stock, just to see how she goes for the first time. And so I sort of mill around at the beginning here and see what's going on. See all the guys are turning north, so except for one battleship that decides to take off down south, but it's not good odds down there if they're all going north, so eventually I figure I'll turn to the north and head up there and see what happens. Eventually. Takes a little while, like I said, mill around here for a bit, look around, see what's going on. There we go. Start turning north now. Oh, sometimes I forget the timing, but yep. Well, the Warships games always start a bit slow, but then eventually they can get pretty exciting sometimes. This is probably not one of those games really, except for one little section which you'll see later on. So I start heading north with the rest of everybody else. These two destroyers in front of me look like they're gonna have a look over at what's in towards the west of us. And there's a cruiser just popped up on the screen over there, and he looks like he's also headed north, but I'm mostly showing this game not because it's a brilliant game by myself really. It's mostly just to show the potential of this ship, because even in this game where I don't do a lot really, you can see that the ship is just, the guns on it especially are much better than even the York's guns. Some speculative shots into that destroyer that just popped up on the screen there. If I can hit him. Even there you can see it's so much easier to aim and fire at targets with the Admiral Hipper's guns rather than the York's guns. Put another few shots in here, and it's a long wait before we get to fire them again. We travel a long way up north, so I'll use this time to talk about another question that I've seen a lot of people thinking about and asking, and Wargaming are trying to get out there, that they want to start turning World of Warships into an esport like World of Tanks is. And I suppose the question that comes out of it is World of Warships really going to be worthy of being, or not worthy, but is it a stage where it would make a good esport? And well, I don't know about viewer wise. They'd have to do it for a little bit to see if the games in it are good enough for people to in the idea of entertainment itself. But the game as it is, it's a good solid game for the most part. But I think the question of it being an esport is more of a whether or not teams are going to be able to compete properly with it, with their things like the battleships' inconsistency to hit targets. But then battleships do massive damage when they do hit targets. I think whether or not this should be an esport, I think it really has been answered by the new team battle system that they've brought in. I haven't actually played any team battles myself, but I've seen a few recordings of it. And the dominant thing for me that stands out is teams that go into a game with the right ships for them, for the players, the right tactics for the team, and the right ideas, and the quality players, they end up winning more often than not, and that's exactly what you wanted. Teams that go in with good tactics, not necessarily better ships, because all the ships really should be somewhat even. Start putting shots into this. It's a rune actually, and in this second salvo, I score I hit him once, but it's a Citadel hit, and it's always nice to, if you're gonna hit once, at least it's a Citadel, especially on the higher tier version of yourself. So I put some shots into these guys in the north. You can see already the trajectories. I'll get it right in a minute. The trajectories on the shots from these guns is so much flatter than, especially the York. The Yorks tended to float a little bit. York's a good ship though, but I got so tired of playing tier 7 with the York and coming up against Fusos and New Mexicos. Fusos and New Mexicos are the biggest pain in the ass at tier 7 because they can put out so many shots that even if you're maneuvering, the dispersion is so wide that they could hit you by accident anyway. And when they do hit you, they hit you for 10,000 damage. And if they hit you twice, it's 20,000 damage. It's nearly half your life gone. Let's put some more shots in to these guys up here. But other than that, the York is a nice ship. I got really bored with the grind, so I basically free XP'd the last half of the grind of the York. So I just couldn't do it anymore. I just wasn't having any fun with it. This first game and this Admiral Hipper, I mean, I didn't do a lot in this game because I'm still trying to learn the ship itself, but it just felt better. Not because it's a higher tier, but just because the ship and the gun mechanics are just, well, they're just slightly better than the York. They, like I said, the trajectory on the shots fired is a lot flatter, and the ship itself looks awesome. It's like a mini battleship, really. The armor isn't mini battleship worthy though, unfortunately. See the AP 3,000, 7 hits, most of them bounce, but 3,000 damage, and you're doing that twice a volley. What? You got nearly 3 times as many volleys as that battleship will have at me, and that's 9,000 damage if I hit 3,000 every time. Of course, high explosive from the Admiral Hipper, not a great idea because it doesn't do much damage and it seems to have trouble setting fires on most ships. But unfortunately, AP does have the problem of when the ship does angle itself, it doesn't do a lot of damage. It's mostly just spalling damage or over penetration damage, which is a bit higher than spalling damage. Spalling damage tends to be only in the hundreds, like you see there, 590 on the previous shot. So have a look over and I see the Tirpitz is coming back. More spoiling damage on the North Carolina. And so I figure he's going to give me a broadside, so I'm going to start shooting at him, see if we can get some good shots on him. Yeah, 2,000 for 5 hits. It's not great, but well, you got to take what you get, unfortunately. And you can put another shot in quick as anything, another volley in a lot quicker than he can volley against me, so keep up the barrage on the Tirpitz, get him turning around again, and then probably going a bit too far north here. Well, I wasn't tunnel visioning, I was watching the map the entire time, and I realised that the bottom of the map is severely open. There's no one down there at all for us. There's a few fast, close ships to our cap, and then that's when it happens, right when I was looking at it, and someone's trying to capture our base. I keep putting shots into this Tirpitz, and I figure, nah, better turn around and start heading back while we keep trying to put shots into the Tirpitz as we go. Turn all the way back south, head straight back to the cap as fast as I can go. It's 32 knots, which isn't bad, for most ships in this game. It's about mid-range speed now that the Russian destroyers are in the game and can do 40 knots. So I guess 32 knots is now mid-range for speed in the game. Now, while we're headed back, we'll have a talk about the premium permanent camo that you can get for the Admiral Hipper. Cost you 3,000 gold. At the moment, I think it reduces repair cost by 10%, reduces your visibility by 3%, or detection range by 3%, and reduces the accuracy of ships shooting at you by 4%, I think it is, and you get an extra 50% experience in the game. It's a pretty nice bonus, but I don't think it's worth the 3,000 gold that you have to pay to get it. I think if they included a I don't know, 50% to 100% credit income as well, or and maybe release the ship so that she could have any captain in her as well, and turn it into a real, turn it into the point where the camo basically turns the ship into a premium ship, almost. I think it would be worth the 3,000 gold, because 3,000 gold is worth a tier 5 or an even tier 6 premium ship. When you look at how much 3,000 gold is in the shop. See, the sneaky destroyer has been sitting there and waiting for the Izumo to get close enough. This guy in the New Orleans is like, haha, told you so, we should have gone and capped. But the fact is, if we didn't get back and decap, then no amount of capping of their cap was going to help us at all. I dislike when players like, haha, told you so, we should have done this, or I knew that was going to happen. And, just annoys you. But yeah, mostly I ignore chat anyway. Even if they're talking to me, I usually ignore what's happening in chat. So we're pushing back to the cap. So yeah, anyway, the camo, yeah, the 3,000 gold is not worth it yet. But if they were to add a bonus to credits in there, like 50% to 100% bonus to credits, even just that alone, I would say yes, I would probably unlock the ship, put the camo on it. Because I mean, you have to go through the grind to unlock the ship first. It's not right for Wargaming to put all that on there and then say, let's make it 5,000 gold if you want it to be premium, and basically turn the ship into a premium. Put some nice shots into this. I think it's a York. Oh, double citadel. So that nice couple of shots. I only hit him 3 times. One bounced and the other 2 went into his citadel. But that York and this destroyer, they're not the ones with all the cap points. Everyone thought it was a destroyer because our destroyer got back and slowed down their cap. Just here, our destroyer has been pushed back out of the cap. He's actually come out of the cap, so you can see the cap is resumed capping. And I'm thinking to myself, geez, I hope you guys are going to turn around and go back straight back into the cap, because we need that stopped until we find this other ship. And there's the York again. He's steaming out, and this is how I know that he wasn't not the one with all the points. Because he's out of the cap now, and the cap counter hasn't gone down, hasn't reset. So I'm looking around at that destroyer. That destroyer's been hit a couple of times in this, so he doesn't have the points either. So I figured there's, and I think I saw it on the map before there. Yeah, a New Orleans sitting in the cap, and I get some shots just in because he's almost sitting still, and I just managed to hit his back end. I didn't do a lot of damage to him, but I reset the cap 3 times. I think one of the shots, it didn't hit him, but it hit the water close enough and caused some splash damage to him. So we've got 3, and it reset our cap right back to 0, or his cap back to, took all his cap points off him anyway. So, and yeah, and that's pretty much the point at which Well, we saved this game, just about. This is mostly about trying to put some more shots into everybody else. I think get 1 or 2 more kills. But, yeah, I chased this cruiser for a little bit and keep an eye out for the other cruisers that are milling around in the middle, the enemy cruisers, that is. And so yeah, as for the camo idea, if you have to grind out these ships over here. We'll try and loop some shots over the top here, but it doesn't work. I'll try it again in a minute here, over the middle, but yeah, he's moving serpentining quite well if they don't manage to hit him at this stage. And that's when the Nagato pokes its head around that corner there. I think, oh, okay. I put a nice set of shots. This is just normal damage that's going to show up here. Just 2 hits. And it's nearly 4,000 damage, which is pretty good from 2 hits. He gets obliterated. I thought he had more health than that when I was looking at that, but when I was actually playing the game, I thought he'd last longer, but no. See, you have to grind out these ships to begin with, and once you've ground it out, and then you have the option of turning it into a premium, I don't think Wargaming should then ask you to pay the same price as a normal Tier 8 premium to make it a premium though, because you've done so much work to get it. But if they could have it like halfway, leave it at 3,000, but add those things that I want to add, where you unlock the ship so it can have any captain, has that much 100% increase to credits and that. I think the camo becomes really worthwhile and really, especially if you sorry, mouth's gone dry. Especially if you've really enjoyed playing the ship. I mean, who doesn't want to turn their most enjoyed ship into a premium ship? It can help you out with the game more. Yeah, not much else happens in this game. I chase this guy for a little bit, and then I think, there's a Pensacola that's pushing into the other side of our cap, and I can see all the guys behind me. They're sticking to where they're following me, basically, outside of our cap. And so I start doing a hard turn, get back around, because I know he's either thinking about coming into our cap from the other side, which, I mean, honestly, with the firepower that's sitting here, is probably not his best idea to do. He's better off waiting for their last battleship to back him up before he comes into our cap. But you see him, he pops up just a little bit, just as this North Carolina runs into me because he wasn't watching me. I think there he is, the Pensacola. He's actually turned back in and back towards his own cap, so he didn't come into ours. It was a wise move from here, because I think he would have got basically free kill if he'd have come into our, or tried to come into the cap and take one last hit from the Iowa, and that's pretty much it for this game. The the game timer runs down. From here I don't get any more shots at anybody. I probably could have put some shots into that Iowa, but at this point I was just trying to not get hit, because it's pretty close. I don't want to die in one single volley to an Iowa. So yeah, and that's the end of the game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, if not the game, and I'll catch you all next time.